Okay, here we are again. I did a sort of a tongue-in-cheek video, and it stirred up quite a bit of interest, and some people asked some questions. So this is a tucking fixture that inspired by the one that Captain Kirk built, and showed it to me about 4 years ago. And I came home and built a fixture like it, and then just last week I was using it and I was thinking to myself, sure would be nice if if the tucking forks and the hammer were all close at hand. So I did what I thought were improvements to his tucking fixture. And the biggest thing, of course the simplest thing, was just having the hammer holder. But the biggest thing that people ask about was the tucking forks and how I accomplished the folding. There's a spring down here on the bottom, and that spring pulls this. There's this rod is inside of the inside of a pipe there, inside of a piece of tubing, and so the spring just keeps it pulled back. And what it's keeping it pulled back into, if we can, oh, there it is it's got grooves cut in it. So when you turn it over, it snaps it back into the grooves, and that locks it into position. So it's rigidly up there. So when you fold it, you just pull it forward and you fold it over, and the spring pulls it back into the slots. It's pretty straightforward, simple design, and it knocks it down and gets it out of the way. It gets it below the level of the surface that you're hammering on. So hope that answers that question. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. But what I want to do is talk about the benefits. Captain Kirk put a lot of thought into how this works and to what metal does when it's being when you're actually doing the shrinking operation, and that really bears a lot of talking about. I'm going to see if I can do it justice. I'm sure he can comment on it and tell me what I'm saying right and what I'm saying wrong, but I'll try to remember as best I can what he teaches at a seminar. First thing you're going to do is pull a tuck in. I'm going to do a fairly deep one because hopefully the bigger it is, the more you'll be able to see it. So basically we're twisting the metal so that we're pulling the tuck in here. And what you want to do as you're doing this is work your way up the sheet a couple times so that you're working your way up and you're getting these fairly close to vertical. The closer to vertical, the more shrink you're going to get. And of course you don't want to go too far because then you'll fold them over. Drop that down out of the way. We'll clamp this into the fixture. And then I'll pull the camera around here and try to hold the camera one-handed and do the hammering one-handed and see what happens. You see we got a nice large tuck. Hopefully that helps us with what we're seeing. First thing to do is close the end of the tuck, a little bit different than most people. Also I want to show how rounded the end of this hammer is. This is quite a bit more rounded, and it's different than Kirk's. Kirk actually rounds the top of the hammer off even more and makes this almost flat, so that you're doing it so that you're setting the tuck down almost like you would be if you were using a power hammer. This part knocking the tuck down and this part flattening out the ridges that you get. So see if we can show how we're doing that with this hammer. I'm going to close the tucks again. I'm doing this one-handed here, and try to see if we can get down here. Again, you can see the one on the left side is getting very close to vertical, so we have to be careful that we're not going to fold that over. But now what we got is we got the beginnings of our tuck, and I'm going to run down the center of this. I'm going to run all the way up it, and what we're going to develop is actually two sets of tucks side by side. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and then come back and show it. Now if you look now, you'll see that what we've got here is actually, we've got the center set down. It's almost touching the metal, the base of the fixture. And now we've got a vertical here, a vertical here, a vertical here going toward the center, and a vertical going over here. So now we actually have 4 verticals that we're going to set down. What's actually happening when you shrink the metal is you're driving the metal that's straight up and down onto itself, thereby thickening it and thereby closing up the distance this way. And that's what the fixture is doing, is helping you hold it in that position. So I'm going to do down a little bit one more time. And you can hear the change. When I got up here with the tuck, we're actually almost there's on dolly. Here on the ridges, we're still well off dolly. The center is on dolly. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and set both of these down. Now if I was using Captain Kirk's hammer, which has a large flat face on the heel of it right here, I would be able to set both of those down with one motion. Me using this rounded hammer, I've actually got to go down both ridges. Using Kirk's hammer, you would just go right up this thing one time and you'd be done. But like I say, it doesn't seem to take that long for me unless I'm stopping to explain it. So, but anyway, here we go. And you can hear when it's time to stop. We're still a little off dolly right there, but there we're down on dolly, so it's time to stop. So there's the shrink, and if you look closely, you'll see that there's a pretty good pattern going up that, just as if you would have if you did it with a fixed stroke power hammer with shrinking dies. So hopefully that explains a lot about what the fixture does for you. It explains a lot about shrinking. It explains what's happening to the metal, and I hope you followed it along there. It's more complicated than it sounds, I think.